Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back with Uncle Jim as my special guest, and we're talking with him with hip hop in Charleston. Uncle Jim, you're talking so much about this industry of hip hop. What, who really inspired you to become a hip hop artist?
Well, I grew up listening to, first it was Master P.
Not Master P.
And Mace, actually.
Okay.
And, of course, Biggie and Puff Daddy from that whole group. I really like what they were doing. I really like what Master P was doing. And but when Eminem came out, you know, that really, I got addicted to him. You know, the way, for one, he was white. Doing what I only see, I mean, yeah, I've heard of Vanilla Ice before, but he wasn't doing what Eminem was doing. You know, and I mean, I study his catalog, his whole career. I mean, if you listen to my music, you can probably tell by the way that I rap. But as far as inspiring me to rap, I mean, there's a couple different factors. If it wasn't for the fact that my friends were there egging me on the whole time, I probably would have never did it. You know, just the fact that I knew I could, I don't think would have been enough to been able to get me to where I am today. And so I think my biggest inspiration are the FLC. That's the crew I grew up with as a kid.
Okay.
And they really helped push me forward. And believe it or not, my parents had a big part of my inspiration too, because every time I write a rap, they would, and they found it, it'd be full of curse words. And they didn't like that. So it would get thrown away and I'd get put on restriction.
Okay.
So if they actually didn't try to suppress it so much when I was a kid, it probably wouldn't have got to be where it is today. Because I had to learn new skills to be able to keep on rapping without having to worry about my little raps getting thrown away every time I wrote something. I had to start writing in my head. And that made me a better artist overall. And a stronger artist, more passionate about doing it, because it was I had to go underground to do it, basically. You know? So I mean, I had a lot of inspirations coming up. It's hard to just point at one.
Being that you are a white artist, and it's kind of like a lot of black artists industry. Don't you feel like you are at an advantage because you're probably more people are looking more for white artists in this industry, like Eminem? You know what I'm saying? There's a limited of white artists, hip hop artists.
Well, I mean, if you look at white artists in this industry today, I mean, how many can you name other than Eminem?
That's what I'm saying. So you aren't you? Don't you think that you are in high demand?
Maybe. Listen, I've followed a lot of white artists over the last couple of years, really since I started getting back into it seriously, just because I did want to see what my competition was. I mean, that's I got several that I like, a couple more that I listen to that aren't my favorites, but I still follow everything they do just to see where they're at. Yeah, I think that, I mean, you look at Elvis, you know, he took rock and roll, which was a black art form at the time, and made it into, you know, look what happened, what rock and roll was in the 80s. I mean, he couldn't be further removed from the black community, you know, and I think hip-hop, that in the black culture, there's a much stronger stronghold on it to keep it from moving all the way from black culture to white culture like rock and roll did. And I think that that's true because of what I've seen over these past couple of years. I mean, Eminem came out, and then a bunch of other white rappers came out, and I think the biggest ones were Paul Wall and Bubba Sparxxx. They're not making music. You know, I really, I try not to break things down into race too much, because at the end of the day, we're all people.
Correct.
You know, and if my skill, based on my individual merit, not on, you know, the color of my skin, is good enough, I think it'll elevate me to where people might want to hear what I got to say, but that's not, I'm not trying to be the next Eminem, or I'm not trying to say, oh, well, this is a great thing to get into because it's mostly black and, I'm white, so maybe I can Elvis it up. That's not really my goal here. Any advantage I can take to get me to where I need to be, of course, I'll take it. If a lane opens up, I'll step in it. But for me, it's just about the art.
I know they talk a lot about, I know being in this industry, they talk a lot about that N word. Now, being that you are a white artist in this industry, I know you probably be around a lot of black artists who use that word. How does that affect you hearing it? And do you use it in your music?
I used it in my music in my younger years, sure, and but I was never gratuitous with it. It's not something that it was always. If I ever used it, I made sure there was enough rhymes backing it up that it justified it. Maybe it didn't. Looking back at it now, one thing I do know is that in the last couple of years, that word for me personally, it just got dirtier and dirtier and dirtier. Just to hear it out of a white person's mouth just was so cringy after a while. And it's not something that I use anymore. And now, as far as being with black artists and them using it, that's their thing. But I feel like if that's the only thing you're saying, if you're saying it 20 times in a song, couldn't you said more things that were a little more important? You know what I mean? There's a lot of songs out that word is used gratuitously. And is it necessary? It's not really for me to sit here and judge somebody else's artwork. You know what I mean? Because I got plenty of things that I've said in my past that people might think are not very necessary either. So it is what it is. A white man in this industry, you're not gonna get too far saying the N-word out of your mouth every other sentence, I don't think.
Correct.
But if it's not really my place to sit here and cast judgment on anybody else. I can only judge myself.
And that's a true thing. I think it's probably like a double standard that, being in this industry and you're sitting inside the studio and they're using it one time, but if you use it one time, it's like, okay.
Right. Well, like I said, if in some of my older songs, I did use it. I remember one time I went to a guy's house he had a little studio of his house, and I was playing some music for him, and then I said it in a song, and he came across it, and then he went back up, he backed it up and played it again, and backed it up and played it again, and just looked at me like, really? I'm like yeah.
Where did Uncle Jim see himself at 5 years from now?
Oh, 5 years from now, I think that I'll be making movies. Personally, that's where I feel like I'll be. Yeah. Like I don't know if I mentioned already, but my brother, he went to school for film and audio, and as soon as I figured out what he was going to school for, my brain started turning.
Yeah.
And I got a lot going on other than just music. I'm also working on a book. Got several stories that I want to write that are kind of rolling around in my head. And I think in 5 years from now, I'll have a book out. I'll probably drop an album every year just because it's not like I can ever stop rapping. It's too ingrained in me at this point. And I think movies, books, and music, that's what I'll be doing.
Are you excited?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Can you see yourself like Bruce Willis and the rest of them, you know what I'm saying? You just turn on that TV one day and you see yourself.
Oh, yeah. No, I ever since I was a kid, I kind of thought that that'd be something fun to do, you know. And I've did a couple acting things here. Like I did a short film with my brother, for school project. And I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I feel like out of all the people that were in that short movie, that I pulled it off the best, as far as not being able to tell I was just acting, you know. And like, yeah, I like that. I really want to do more of that. I haven't done too much more yet. Just, hard being a family man, working on all day. But yeah, I got a TV show that I want to write. It's going to be the Ballad of Ralph Cole. And it's going to be like an allegory for my life, but it's going to take place in the past. And I'm going to be a country music artist, but I box as well on the side for money. But I don't have that great of a singing voice. But I write. And then one night, I drunkenly invent rapping, and I call it ripping. And that's kind of like the idea floating around in my head right now for that story. But yeah, I definitely I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to start getting this ball rolling. That's the biggest thing, just getting this ball rolling. Because, the sky's the limit after that.
So what's stopping this ball from rolling, Uncle Jim?
Mostly me, I guess.
So let's look in this mirror called life, and let's see what's, let's get the ball rolling, Jim.
Well, I've been pushing it for a little while now.
I know you are.
I'm getting it budging,
I know you are.
Starting to budge.
I know that. It's a process.
It's a process.
And how bad Uncle Jim wants this, how fast Uncle Jim wants, God knows, he got you.
That's right.
He got you. He knows your heart.
That's true. It's true. If anybody knows it.
Yeah. And God knows that patience and obedience, and doors open up for you. So just keep on doing what you're doing, and those doors open up for you. And just keep on praying, and just let God open those doors up for you.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do it, because I want to cut on that TV one day.
Uncle Jim right there.
Yeah, he said he's going to do it, but let's go ahead and do that thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But don't procrastinate, because tomorrow's not promised.
Very true.
So just take them baby steps, because it's like we start off in kindergarten and all that, but you got to take those steps to do what it takes. Like you said, you know what it takes to do what you got to do.
I really like what you said, the patience and obedience, because that's it. That's
and it's not, the road's not easy.
It's certainly not. There's a lot of things you got to balance, It's not like I can just drop everything and go be a rapper.
Right.
I got kids to feed.
Yeah.
So,
but you got
one step at a time.
And you got to prioritize. You got to put them blinders on, because you're going to have distractions going to come in your way, and you're going to have to learn how to, when that distraction comes over here, you got to learn how to, I can't go to my left. I got to keep straight. I can't go to my right. I got to keep straight. Because there's going to be distractions. I'll try to get Uncle Jim from keep straight.
That's right. That's right. That's another reason why I'm glad that I'm older now. I think I'll be able to turn away from those distractions a little easier than maybe when I was in my 20s.
So, Uncle Jim, we're coming to the end of the show again. So, much success. Anytime you want to come back on the show, let's talk about this thing called life. Just let me know. You got my number. Thank you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Uncle Jim, y'all look out for him. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the show. You be encouraged. Thank you.